Yeah, that's true. Like limiting is not everything, obviously, but it's just a really important thing. And over limiting is bad, and it's I feel like a big mistake, especially that people that try to master like their own things would fall into a lot because they just want it loud, so they just throw a limiter and like raise the volume and then call it done, maybe. And so basically when they sometimes it happens to us like they send us a reference that they did like that, but their processing with the limiting was so heavy that it really changed the song completely. So for us, like to the original song to the reference is like this, I mean this is not like a normal difference. Now we have to kind of try to recreate that because you thought you were giving me like a loud reference, but you kind of messed up the song a lot. Yeah,
That
respectfully.
that's something that always intrigues me. How should we read? I mean, read or listening between the line and say, okay, why they like these? Why is this a reference? Or
Yes.
that's a skill to be
Yeah,
developed.
you have to listen and kind of take what's good and what you like or what you think they might be liking from that reference, but give them the same but better. Obviously, the same feel, the same effect, but not distorted or not over limited or not too squashed. So yeah, it's tricky.
So
Well,
I think. Oh, go ahead, Brian, and then I
I
have
was just going
something
to
to add
say
to that. Please.
for our aspiring mastering engineers, that's why what Andy brought up about level matching is so important. Because if you add limiting and you make it louder, you're going to be drawn to that sound because louder is better. Um,
Yes.
and that's a psychoacoustic truism that's true under most circumstances. Louder is better. You A/B something, the louder one is going to be the preferred one 90% of the time. But if you level match the before and after, then you can truly judge what the limiting has done to the sound. And then you can resolve the question that Mauricio and Adanya just brought up about, did they give us this crappy sounding reference master because they just liked it because it was so much louder than the original mix? Or is there really something about that harsh sound that they want me to reproduce? I've said the tactless part that you guys were trying to avoid. You're welcome.
Well,
Yes.
That's interesting because that's another skill. It's almost maybe the art of mastering is knowing how to match levels. And
Yes.
in my critical listening class, in the very first day, I just played two tracks in Pro Tools, exactly the same song, but they don't know. The only difference is 1 dB. And I just asked them, this is not a game, this is not a trick. I just want you to react to whatever you're listening and write words in a paper. Or if you don't want to write, memorize some words. And, when I stop the song, let's talk about it. And then I do that. A, B, 1 dB louder, A, B. And then you have all kinds of answers like, oh, it's punchier. The low end is richer. It's lush. It's, oh, I like that one better. Oh, this is too compressed. It's like, man,
Yeah.
no bias. You have no bias because you don't know what you're listening
Yeah.
to. So I think Idania mentioned something about like uh, people following trends and say, hey, I have to use these and I have to use these, sub generator and I have to use this wider, kind of spread wide or something. And this is kind of another type of bias, like I would say maybe the social bias, like what people are doing, I'll do the same. And the other thing is, I know that what is, like these MP3 against that 96K. So that's another bias. So listening is, to me, it's really like I don't know what I'm listening. It's a reactive process. I'm just reacting to something instead of, if I'm thinking, I'm not listening. I mean,
Yeah.
I know there are limits for that, but that's kind of the right.